found a hidden door in my new apartment that led to a neighbor I never knew I had. I moved into my affordable studio apartment in Chicago 3 months ago. It's a converted hotel from the 1920s, minus charming but full of quirks, creaky floors, temperamental plumbing, and walls so thin I can hear my neighbor's alarm clock. What the listing didn't mention was the strange door. It's in my bedroom closet, minus a small wooden door about 3 feet tall, painted the same color as the wall. When I first discovered it while unpacking, I assumed it was an access panel for maintenance, or maybe old hotel storage. It was locked, so I forgot about it until last week when my heating stopped working. Chicago winters don't mess around, so I called maintenance. The super, an older guy named Ray, came up looking annoyed. Heating's out in the whole building, he grumbled, handing me a space heater. Should be fixed by tomorrow. As he turned to leave, I remembered the door. Hey, while you are here, minus what's that small door in my closet for? I showed him and his expression changed completely. He stared at it for a full minute before saying, that shouldn't be unlocked. Previous tenant must have tampered with it, just old pipes and wiring. Nothing interesting. He relocked it with a key from his massive keyring building code. Can't have tenants accessing electrical stuff, but something about his reaction felt off. That night, freezing in my apartment with only the space heater, I kept thinking about the door. Why did Ray look so concerned at 2 a.m.? I was startled awake by soft tapping sounds coming from inside my closet. Tap, 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 tap. I told myself it was just the old pipes, but curiosity got the better of me. And Judy and a credit card trick I learned in college. I dimmied the lock open. The door swung inward to reveal a narrow tunnel barely big enough to crawl through. It was surprisingly clean and lit by a string of small Christmas lights that disappeared around a bend. Common sense said to close the door and call the police. Instead, I grabbed my phone and crawled in. The tunnel extended about 15 feet before opening into another closet. I emerged into a fully furnished apartment identical to mine in layout, but completely different in every other way. While my place was penthouse-high furniture and bare walls, this apartment was filled with plants, vintage furniture, and walls covered in beautiful hand-painted murals of forests and night skies. It looked lived in, but there was no one there. On a small dining table sat a plate with a half-eaten sandwich and a note. To my neighbor with the loud alarm clock. If you found this passage, I guess it's time we met. I am not dangerous, just different. The building manager doesn't know I live here because technically this apartment doesn't exist. It was sealed off during renovations in the 70s due to structural concerns. Aka, a greedy landlord wanting fewer units with higher rent. I found it 5 years ago and made it my home. I am usually here evenings after 7 and free to knock on the door next time instead of breaking in. But that night at 7:15, I knocked on the small door. It opened to reveal a woman about my age with wild curly hair and paint-splattered overalls. I am Violet, she said with a smile. Want some tea? I've been waiting 3 months for someone interesting to move in next door. Turns out Violet is an artist who works nights at a downtown bar. She's been living off-grid in the forgotten apartment, paying no rent to utilities included in the building's overall bill. The previous tenant knew about her but kept her secret. We've become friends over the past week. She showed me how the building's original design had connecting doors between hotel rooms, most of which were sealed up during conversions. I should probably report this to management. It's definitely not legal, but in a city where I knew no one and couldn't afford to go out, finding a secret neighbor in a hidden room feels like discovering magic. Sometimes the best connections are behind doors we're not supposed to open.